If you ever thought, will this training actually help me, or is it just for one format? Well, this episode's for you. Today, I'm talking with Cynthia once again, but now she went through the Sharkey Instructor Academy. But what's really powerful about her story is how she didn't just apply it to one class. She took what she learned and started using it across all of her dance and fitness formats. And that's the part I want you to listen for. Because this isn't about learning more choreography or adding something new to your plate. It's about learning how to teach in a way that actually works, no matter what style you're in. We're going to talk about what her teaching looked like before, what shifted during the academy, and how it's changed the way her students respond, follow, and feel in class. So if you ever felt like your classes could flow better, or your students could feel more confidence, or you could just teach with more clarity, this conversation is going to hit. Let's get into it. If you're a dance or fitness instructor who wants to grow your classes, boost income, and turn your passion into a real business, you're in the right place. Each week, I'll share the exact strategies, lessons, and truth smacks from building a thriving belly dance fitness brand. We'll dive into what actually fills classes and keeps students coming back so that you can build a profitable instructor career. So, lace up those sneakers and pull on those dance shoes. It's time to build the business you deserve. I'm Orit, and welcome to Dance Fit Biz Builders. Hello and welcome to Dance Fit Biz Builders. I'm Orit, your host, and I am back again with my special guest, Cynthia. She was a guest on episode 77 before she went through the Sharkey Instructor Academy, and now she's back again after completing it. So welcome, Cynthia. So happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I love Sharkey. I love you.
Awesome.
I'm so happy to be here to talk about how great the experience was.
First question, what was teaching like before you joined the Sharkey Instructor Academy? Were you struggling? Were you not struggling?
I didn't feel I was struggling because I feel like I'm a pretty good teacher on the whole because I've done so much work with learning how to be a good teacher, not just learning my craft as a dancer, but learning how to teach movement. But I feel like what SIA did was help me be more organized, use my time more efficiently and effectively with the students, learn how to minimize the words that I use by just getting to the crux of what it is they need in order to be successful, moving the class along at a quicker pace. Those are all things that I use in the technique class I taught. But I will also say that I have added to my class offerings because of Sharkey. And where I can have a class where I just use the Sharkey method exclusively. I teach Fat Chance belly dance style, which is a folk fusion style of movement, of belly dance movement. It's sort of belly dance adjacent because we bring in movement from many different cultures around the Mediterranean. And I teach that in a 1 hour class. Now, in 1 hour, most dance instructors will tell you that's not really enough to go through sort of your exercises at the bar, right? It's not really enough time to spend the amount of time necessary to train students with their isolations. So we wind up in that 1 hour focusing a little more on steps. Now, I break down the steps much like we do in Sharkey, right? With the isolations first into parts and the footwork and so forth, adding the arms and the hands. But that doesn't take the place of actually really working those isolations for your technique. And what I ended up doing was starting to play around with how do I do this using Sharkey? Because students don't love standing in front of a mirror doing, 40 repetitions of rib cage locks. They just don't. Serious dancers, yes, they'll do it, right? But casual dancers, they don't love that stuff. That's not the class they're going to jump to sign up for. They want to dance. They don't want to stand in front of a mirror and basically do exercises. And I needed a way to get my students interested and excited about actually doing dance conditioning so that when we get to that technique class in the Fat Chance style, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. They don't have to grasp for straws at how to execute this step I'm teaching them, because they will already understand how to achieve the isolation that is involved in making that step happen. So I have been searching for, what is a good way for me to do this with my students. And when I started with the Sharkey Instructor Academy, I immediately started taking some of those principles and trying to come up with a warm up that include for my regular Fat Chance class that included the technique and the isolations that they needed and the foot patterns that they might need, but keep it moving. Make it a warm up, keep it moving, but sneak that technique practice in there. And so I started doing a warm up that I created based on the Sharkey system with these blocks, moving things along really, really quickly. I did it in about 4 blocks only. And we did maybe a 15-minute warm-up that included the foot patterns we were going to use that day, the isolations that we were going to use that day, but it was in a dance. They were just dancing from the minute I turned the music on at the beginning of class, straight through. And it was like, when you try to give a cat a pill and you put it in a little treat and they eat it up because it tastes good, but they don't realize they got their medicine, and the students loved it. And when we kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, we're ready to move on now. We ran out of time. Let's go to our regular, our Fat Chance material. And they would say, can we just finish this choreo? Can we keep going? So, what I ended up doing was saying, all right, I'm going to take the Fat Chance class. That's my class from 7:30 to 8:30. I'm going to take the next half hour and I'm going to call it Dance Jam, and it's going to be Sharkey, and it'll just be an express Sharkey class that I'm going to call Dance Jam. And what I have done in that class is take all the isolations that they need for all the steps that they learn in their Fat Chance class and put them into Sharkey blocks and just teach a 30-minute Sharkey class. But all of it is technique that they need for the steps they're learning in the Fat Chance class. But because it moves along, the music is pumping, there's very little, my words are minimal. It's only what I see they need in order to achieve that isolation. And what's best about it is I tell them, you are the person who chooses how you want to use this 30 minutes. If you just need to follow mindlessly and zone out, follow mindlessly and zone out. If where you are tonight is just your footwork, just do the foot patterns. You're getting cardio anyway if you're doing that, which is part of dance conditioning. You have to build your endurance up. It's not all isolation. Some of it's endurance, some of it's core strength, right? All of that stuff is necessary. And even if they're not doing every single isolation in the Sharkey workout, they're still getting a core workout and they're still getting cardio, which they need to build their endurance. And their brain is still working. Even if they're not doing all the things that they're watching, and their brain is taking in that information. So I tell them, choose where you are tonight. It's 8:30, it's 8:45 when we're starting this. So some of these ladies are tired from their days. They've been up since 6 a.m. So I give them that agency, right? It's you choose what you want to do. If you want to choose to really make this technique drilling, then you're going to choose that option when we work tonight. If you're saying, I just want to work on my arms or my feet, my transitions and my footwork, then that's what you pay attention to tonight, right? And ultimately, during the time I've been doing this, I'm seeing improvement in my students. They love it. They can't wait to start. I have 1 or 2 students who are like, can we do more? Can we go faster? Can we, they love it. They're in there, they're sweating, but they love it. And they tell all the other students who aren't taking it, it's so fun, you should stay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're really psyched about it becoming a 1-hour class starting in May. I'm so excited for them that they love it so much. And they feel like they're really, really dancing. Because in the Fat Chance technique class, the stylization class, because of the nature of that material, there's more talking. There's more, the nuances of what makes this fat chance style versus any other style, right? There's certain things that we have to look at that you don't in maybe a basic belly dance foundations class where you're really drilling down on those fundamental isolations and movements. And Sharkey gives me the ability to present that fundamental, those foundation movements that you need no matter what style of belly dance you're doing. These are the isolations and the movements that are behind them, and you need to learn these things and you need to become proficient in them. And Sharkey gives me the ability to offer them that training, but in a way that is really, really enjoyable and success-oriented.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. And you know what's interesting? You're very unique that you really think of this from a marketing standpoint, and you're really thinking about this from the student's perspective. Like you just said, people who don't want to dance as their livelihood, they're not going to want all these drills. A lot of dance teachers don't think that way. They think this is the way you do it. There's no flexibility.
Right.
Well, there is flexibility. Open your eyes, dance teachers, and specifically belly dance teachers.
Yeah.
There's not one way to do things, and you can get creative to bring in more students because a lot of these teachers are marketing to the 20% who are into dance. There's this whole fucking 80% out there that you can you can make money, and they don't open their eyes, and that's what aggravates me.
Most of my students, I'd say all of them. I have one or two who are they're like me, right? Who would be like, okay, I'm not going to say this was fun, but this is the work I have to do, right? I have one or two who are like that, but most of them, they want to be better dancers, but they want to have fun. They have busy lives. They have children. They have demanding jobs. Some of them have health issues that they're dealing with. They come to my class because they want to enjoy themselves for an hour. They want friendship and camaraderie. They want to feel good being in their bodies. They are sometimes searching to bring out the inner beauty in themselves that they don't get to bring out in other places in their lives. Right? Where the rest of life is just have to, and there's so much negativity. They want to come to a place for an hour where they feel good, where they feel positive, where they feel supported, and they're just having fun. They don't want to leave classes feeling like that was so hard I couldn't do it. They want to feel like they succeeded at something when they leave that studio. So everything I do, I try to do in a way that gives students something when they leave, right? I mean, I think some teachers view it as, oh, well, these students are just coming to me because of my expertise, that I'm such a good dancer, or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe students are coming to you because they enjoy your class, because they felt good about themselves when they left there. I don't care whether my students leave there going, Cynthia is such a great dancer. I want them to leave there and say, I feel really good when I come here into this environment. And so I try to think about things that way. And Sharkey is such a great fit for that. I mean, I love it. I think it's so much fun. And so if I think it's so much fun, there's a good chance that my students will think that it's so much fun too. And I introduced it, like I said, in the warm-up, little by little, and they had the response that I thought they were going to have. And then I tried the half-hour class to see how is this going to go. And they love it. And the half-hour class, it kicks ass. It's fast. There is not downtime. It's full speed ahead. And because it's 30 minutes, I've stuck with the same basic choreography blocks. I just increase the complexity and add more layers every week. And they love it because they're familiar with the blocks. They know that the order the blocks are in, and they know I'm just going to add something different. It might be different arms. It might be a direction change. It might be, a different isolation, but the same foot pattern. But they know the general sequence. And so they have confidence when they come in there. They know what to expect. They know how I'm going to teach it. They know how these steps move along. They understand how it builds, where we will break down a move, turn it into a block by linking it to another move that I've broken down, and then repeat that block several times until they've got it. And then we move on to the second block and do the same thing. And then we link those blocks. And then as we add blocks, we'll be going it over from the top over and over again. They know what's coming. They know what to expect. They follow well. They enjoy it. They like the little changes that we make every week. I'll look in the class and I see, people who are working hard, but they're also smiling and having fun. I'll add some fun stuff in there for them. And, they love doing just like hop shimmies and things like that, where everybody's just laughing and having a blast. You hear people saying like, we'll get through a hard block and that's a little bit like a peak in the dance, and everybody will go, oh, and you just hear like the camaraderie, the excitement, and it's just really helping. It's helping them grow as dancers, but it's helping them, I think, have an improved mindset, which I think at the heart of why Sharkey is an outstanding system for teaching either dance or exercise is that the whole thing is geared toward positive mindset, achievement-oriented, success-oriented, but in a way that actually works. You could say, well, any program is achievement-oriented or success-oriented. Yes, but how many of them actually work? How many of those programs do people actually stick with longer term? And the reason is this. Sharkey starts from a place of saying, what's the smallest workable block we can break something into? And when a student can achieve that, that's when we add on. That's when we level up. And creating those small succession of successes is what keeps people feeling positive, enjoying the process, wanting to stick with it and move forward. So when you have a program and someone looks at the program or looks at the class and just says, well, here's the end goal. Here's what I want to achieve. This is where I'm headed. That can be overwhelming. Sometimes you don't get the little successes, the moments where you can pat yourself on the back that you need to motivate you to stick with it and keep going. This whole program is based on baby steps, bit by bit, giving you successes. And you choose the pace that you work at. You choose how long it takes you to get that little piece, right? And there's no shame in choosing to stay in a place longer. You do what you need to do to succeed. And this method is so successful that I am using it to teach brand new finger cymbal players how to dance with their finger cymbals, which is one of the hardest things for dancers to do, to make the leap to playing cymbals while they dance. So if traditionally in classes, you would take dancers who know how to do certain movements, you go, okay, now you're going to use finger cymbals. Go ahead. This is how you put them on your fingers. This is the technique of how you want to hit them together. And now you're going to just play this while you do the dance that you know how to do. That doesn't give people confidence. It doesn't give people ownership of them playing that instrument. So I have an approach that I have crafted toward approaching finger cymbals and introducing them to students that's very much like Sharkey, where, we work in building blocks. But when it comes to actually to the point where they're ready to start dancing, I'm using Sharkey to get them to dance with those finger cymbals, where I'm saying, okay, now the first part of class, we've rehearsed this pattern. We've played it walking. If you can play it walking, you can play them dancing. So now we're going to start to work from the ground up with some different foot patterns, right? Same timing as walking. And I build it up just like Sharkey. The same method. I build it up with 16 count blocks, 2 moves per block. I tell them, this is our Lego block system. Remember, you stop adding layers where you feel you need to stay and work at that a little longer. If you're getting the feet right away, great. Your feet with your finger cymbals. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for, right? As your instructor, I want you to get the finger cymbals time with your feet. That's the most important thing. If you can do that, I'm happy. If you have to stay there for a little while at that point and work there, work there. But if you're ready for more, let's add an isolation to this. When you're getting the isolation, let's do something with the arms. And I build it up block by block with the Sharkey method. And I have people in that class who have barely any experience with finger cymbals, who then say, I can't believe I'm dancing with finger cymbals. I can't believe I'm playing and dancing at the same time. I never thought I could do this. I have 2 left feet.
Amazing,
So
Cynthia.
this can be applied. This method can be applied to so many different things. And the thing is, instead of your students being intimidated or scared of what you're teaching them, they're having a great time because they're succeeding. Instead of
you.
being frustrated, they're succeeding. And that's what SIA was for me too.
Amazing, Cynthia. Thank you so much for that. And I would just love to add on from a teaching perspective, I'm noticing for you, because you're breaking it down to its root, you're forced to really watch your students. So as a result, your students are feeling seen.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this is like twofold benefit here. Like
Mhm.
it's great for you, it's great for the students, it's great all around. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I had a student who was struggling with a step, and she grabbed me after class and said, "I just can't get X, Y, and Z," and I was able to solve her problem. I mean, in like 5 seconds flat, because of something I learned with you about. Look, just break it down to its smallest part. I broke it down to its smallest parts, and she was struggling with this movement for some time. And within, I mean, it was 30 seconds she was doing it, and it was just like I had the easy answer for her because of Sharkey, because of the mindset that the way it caused a perspective shift in me. As instructors who have been around for a very long time in whatever format you're doing, we know so much about these movements and these steps that sometimes we forget the simplest thing. What is the simplest root, the essence of this thing that I need to say to this person to make it click for them? Because we want to say and share all the things we love and have learned and know. And for an instructor to have to be forced in a system like Sharkey to edit, 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 that is what really benefits a new student in particular. They don't need to know all the details, all the minutia about how to make this movement happen. That's for a student who understands the basic and is now looking to craft the nuances. But baby beginner students need things simplified in a way that's clear and effective, as concise as you can be. And Sharkey is the answer to that. It really disciplined me to be able to address those students and say as little as possible. I can't keep a Sharkey class moving if I'm saying everything I know about how to do a snake arm.
Mm-hmm.
I have to just get to the crux of it.
May I ask, why do you think there's dance instructors out there who don't think this way? What do you think happened?
I think that sometimes we cater to students who are very, very serious students about dance, but that really isn't who our student population is. And you can't just teach to that one higher level student. You have to teach to everybody who's in the room. And that may be part of it. And some of it is just like teachers who have been teaching for 20 years or something. I think sometimes you forget how hard it is and how frustrating it can be for a beginner. That maybe you forgot what it was like to be in their shoes and be a student who maybe literally does not understand how to make their hip go to the side, right? I mean, there are students who have that kind of struggle. Probably more students than not in today's world where we have very sedentary lifestyles. We have to always be beginners, I guess is what I'm saying. It's
Yes.
not with that beginner mindset, which is a hard thing to do when you've almost like become an expert in this little niche that you do.
And I think it's really important to get feedback from your students on
Oh,
how
yeah.
you're teaching, or get a mentor. You can always learn new skills.
I agree. The feedback is key. and they often won't offer that to you. You have to say to them, I will say to my students periodically, what do you think? Do you want to focus more on one thing or another? How do you think this is going? And get back from them what they want to do. I mean, sometimes, yes, the teacher knows better. They're going to say they don't want to do the stuff that's the hard stuff that they need to do, right? 9 times out of 10. But you know that if that's how they feel, at least, that maybe you have to find another way to present that information. And I would just say sometimes teachers are so serious that they forget to make it fun.
Yeah, I hope they're listening to this episode.
Yeah, you look at your students and they're not smiling. They're going to see the focus face, and that's okay. That's okay, right? But if nobody's like cracking a smile at any point, if people are just, you got to do something to give them some kind of relief. And maybe this is part of the answer to your question. I think as dance teachers, we often think that our students are there only because they want to learn how to dance. And that's not always the reason that students are there.
Which is important to survey or onboard new students, why they're coming into class. Very important.
What are their goals? What do they hope to get out of it? And that could change for each individual over time. But everybody comes to your class for a different reason. And when you look around the room and you see their reactions and you just see their facial expressions and their bodies and what's happening, you have to try to read and extrapolate from that why they're here, what they're enjoying and what they're not. What are they struggling with? What do they need today? You take the temperature of the room when you start the class, right? You could feel the vibe of where they're at as a group. And you have to be responsive to that. It can't just be what you wrote on your lesson plan for the day. Sometimes you have to be flexible and say, my students, I just feel like they need something else. And do that for them. Because they're paying you for a service. They're not there to like worship you and your performance. They're your customers. And we have to make them happy, or they will not continue to be our customers anymore.
It's like you need to learn the hospitality of teaching.
Yeah.
And that's also what's missing, the business of teaching. So, dancers, belly dancers, dance instructors, regular dancers, listen to this. I hope you're really listening to this, that this is so important. It's not about your outline. It's not about of class or what you're going to do that day. There's so much more to it. Really, open your eyes. Just open your mind to it. Because if you're wondering, why aren't there more people come to my classes? Why aren't I making more money? Think about these things. All right. So I want to ask you about the Academy. One more question about it. What surprised you the most, Cynthia, about the Academy? Like something you didn't expect going in?
I didn't expect how much of a change in me as a person and how much of a perspective shift or a mindset change that I was going to have during the process. I think whether it was just you and you as a coach and your encouragement and just who you are, being the right person for me, or the kind of person who could bring out what I needed to access at this time, or whether it's the Shark Key system itself, the Shark Key system of instruction, or both. I think it's probably a matter of it being both. For me as a person, I feel like it made me stronger because it taught me that the way to reach your big goals, no matter what they are in life, whether it's teaching Shark Key, whether it's being a better teacher at whatever it is you do, whether it's being better at your career, your job, if you're an accountant or whatever it is, or your relationships in life, take everything and break it down into achievable parts. And when you do that, your mindset shifts from telling yourself you're not doing enough, because you haven't achieved X. Your mind shift set changes from that to being able to congratulate yourself because you're acknowledging how far you have come. I mean, I'm that kind of person who always wants to like achieve and get things done and do more things. And so, my mindset has always been, okay, how much more do I have to do? I'm not where I want to be. And this has taught me to say, no, look at these series of little goals that you've met from week to week, how things are getting better. Break things down into their smallest parts, and then congratulate yourself for having come so far. And we don't do that in life. I mean, I'm going to say, I think especially as women, we have so many demands on us. So many. When you add in your work and things you want to achieve for yourself as a person, which always takes last priority, right? Your relationship with your children and your marriage and making sure your children, if you have children, have everything that they need to succeed. All of these demands and pressures that we put on ourselves as women, I don't think that we congratulate ourselves enough for those little things that we manage to accomplish every day. Some days, it's just enough for you to say, I got a load of laundry done. And feel good about that instead of looking at that to-do list and saying, look at all I didn't do. And I think that the process of going through the Instructor Academy really made me so much more aware of being able to take some of that pressure that I was putting on myself for not achieving things and look at what I did achieve and feel good about that.
I love that, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you. And just a little side note, I was taking my fly yoga class on Sunday, and that was the same exact intention she gave us
Oh, wow.
when she started the class. We don't sit in our achievements long enough because once we achieve, we're on to the next goal,
Yeah.
right? But we sit in our failures thinking about it.
Oh, for years. We'll sit in our failures for years and let them traumatize us. So we never ever recognize the good. And that's what I try to do in my classes for my students is teach them to recognize all of the things they should have gratitude for and how much good is already in them that they're already doing right now. And letting them know, I mean, and you're this kind of instructor, and Sharkey is all about this positive mindset of look how far you have come. I mean, I see in my students the growth. Some of them over just 6 weeks, some of them been with me for almost a year, and saying, wow, you ladies have come so far, so far. And, you should be thrilled about that. They don't need to be anybody in class other than themselves. They don't need to look like me. They don't need to look like some dancer superstar that they admire on YouTube or some influencer. They just need to bring their best selves and their best effort, whatever that may be that day. And over time, in a short period of time, they will see successes and they should be proud of that. And I feel like that is the whole attitude behind Sharkey and the Sharkey Instructor Academy. Is so much of it is just teaching the teachers to have that perspective shift and work to succeed at that small little piece and then freaking celebrate it when you succeed.
I have to take your class. I'm going to go over to where you are in PA and I want to take your class just because the way you speak, and I hope you're going to do this in your marketing. You are so encouraging and you're so nurturing. I just want to hop on over there through my screen and take a class. Really, you're a wonderful teacher.
Oh, thank you.
It shows.
I feel like this is what my place, this is my place in life, because they say we all want to teach and give to others what we lacked in ourselves, in our lives, right? And I feel that as many women can tell you stories of past difficulties, I didn't have that support, especially from other females in my life. My mother, my sisters, I didn't really have a great relationship. I didn't have that support and encouragement. And I think because of that, as I've matured in my life, because I know I always felt that void. I feel like I understand that that's what people are looking for and need. And that's what I try to give to my students. If they're not getting it anywhere else in their lives, I hope they hear it from me. I hope they're getting it from me so that they can take that. I tell my ladies when they come into class, they need to just shake off all of the bullshit, all of the negativity, all of the bad thoughts, all of the negative ego talk they give themselves. Shake it off and walk onto that dance floor with their crowns on their heads like queens. And I want them in dance class and Sharkey class to embrace those crowns and take that queenly attitude out that studio door with them into their regular lives. I want them to acknowledge how wonderful they are, how grateful they should be for these beautiful bodies they were given. Stop knocking themselves down and claim their rightful place in life, right? Every woman has a queen inside her waiting to get out. They just have to be confident enough to seize that and project it. And when they can, and they get those little successes with Sharkey and in their dance class, every one of those little successes is a step toward that. It's a step towards standing taller when they leave the studio. And for me, when I discovered Sharkey, I was just like, this does it. This does it. It's built for success. It's built for self-love. It's built for positive body image. It gives people agency, which is what is necessary in order for people to really have long-term growth, is to feel that they chose this, they chose the challenge, and they succeeded at it. Not that the challenge was enforced by somebody else, was thrown on them by somebody else. They chose it. They choose the level they're going to work at. And every week I see ladies who chose the base level to work at gain the confidence to choose the next layer, the next level, and push themselves as they gain confidence. So I knew Sharkey was going to be a good fit for me as a teacher, and it has been. And I think it's empowering. I will always speak the gospel of Sharkey. I think that it should be as big or bigger than Zumba. It's just that not enough people see it and know about it. And I'd love for more people to experience it because it is transformational for every woman, I think, that I have taught it to, that I've been encountering as I teach.
Thank you. You're so kind. And with that, for instructors who teach other formats and think, shit, this is not for me, what would you say?
I would say you need to check this out for yourself and see how it could work for you. Like if I can teach finger symbols using Sharkey, right? And people might not think that's a fit. It is. It's a perfect fit. I believe any style of dance or movement will work. It's a beat-based system. Sharkey is simply Middle Eastern dance combined with a traditional beat-based aerobic instruction format. That's all it is. And you can take any style of dance or any style of movement or exercise and layer it on top of or with this Sharkey system of instruction, this beat-based instruction, breaking things down, adding things on, repetition. It keeps your class moving. It makes your class prep time super simple because you're not coming up with new choreographies. You have a nice framework. It's like a template, right? So it makes things nice and easy for you. And your students have success and they have fun. You're using fun music that creates a party vibe. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Everybody's cutting loose. It'll take a class that could be dry and turn it into something super fun. Yeah. And sure, I want to tell you that I have some down weeks. I have 6-week schedules with my dance classes. So over the summer, we have some long months. And I'm wedging in some pop-in Sharkey classes, and I'm making them themed. We're going to have an 80s new wave Sharkey dance party. We're going to have a 90s club night Sharkey dance party. And people are really excited about how fun this is going to be. So just to show instructors, you can do lots of different things when you have this method in your pocket, that you can market classes and get people in the door who maybe wouldn't sign up for your maybe your 6-week or 8-week sessions, but might be willing to try one of these like 80s dance party. Cool. There's a lot of Gen Xers looking to, get their freak on. Right. So
Yeah.
come on out and dance to that and have fun. And I promise you, when they experience how much fun this is, they will be looking for more.
We need to have you teach a pop-up in the Sharkey studio.
Ah,
Can you do a 70s theme?
sure.
Okay. That'd be fun.
70s, baby.
Yeah. Cynthia, it was fabulous to have you again. And as always, I love talking to you. And I would love for you to take us out with our signature outro.
Thank you for being with us. And until next week, go out and kick ass.
Yes. Perfection.
Thank you. Thank you, Ori.